Right, so you want to get into online trading, but maybe feeling a little overwhelmed with where to even begin.
Well, you've come to the right place because today we're going to break it all down.
Exactly. We're doing a deep dive into the world of online trading, and I've got an expert here to help us sort through it all.
Happy to be here.
So we're talking about buying and selling stocks, forex, cryptocurrencies, all sorts of assets.
All from the comfort of your couch or, wherever you happen to be.
That's right. The internet has made trading incredibly accessible, but
But there always is.
right, there's always a but so what's the big caveat here?
I think the biggest thing to keep in mind is that while it's super easy to get started with online trading,
Yeah. Anyone with an internet connection can open an account these days.
exactly. And that's part of the risk because it can seem so simple that people underestimate the potential for loss.
So it's not just a game. It's real money.
Oh, absolutely. You're dealing with actual capital and market forces that are often unpredictable.
That makes sense. Our research here emphasizes understanding those market trends.
Right. If you want to be successful, you can't just jump in blindly.
So for someone who's brand new to this, where do you even begin to learn about those trends?
Well, I think a good starting point is to stay informed about what's happening in the economy.
So like major news events, economic indicators, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Things like inflation figures, interest rate changes,
Yeah.
those can really move the markets.
Okay, so keeping an eye on the news, that's something actionable.
Definitely. And you can also look at historical trends, see how specific sectors or industries have performed over time.
So you're not just trying to guess what's going to happen, you're looking for patterns.
Exactly. You're trying to get a feel for the market's behavior.
That's helpful. And speaking of not just guessing the material, also talks a lot about managing risk.
Yeah, that's absolutely crucial. You don't want to lose your shirt.
What are some of the fundamental ways to manage risk in online trading?
Well, one of the most important things is to set a stop-loss order.
Stop loss orders.
Yeah, so basically, this is an instruction that automatically sells your asset if it drops to a certain price that you set.
So it limits your potential losses.
Exactly. It's like a safety net.
I like that, a safety net. Okay, so stop loss orders, got it. What else?
Another key strategy is diversification.
Oh, right. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Spread your investments across different types of assets. So if one market takes a hit, you're not completely wiped out.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, one thing that maybe isn't as obvious when you think about online trading is patience.
Oh, that's huge.
Why is patience so important in this game?
Because the markets are volatile. They go up and down all the time.
And you can't freak out every time there's a dip.
Exactly. Emotional trading is a recipe for disaster.
So you got to have a long-term perspective.
Right. Think of it like a marathon, not a sprint.
Love that analogy. Now, on a more serious note, one thing that really jumped out at me was the warning about fraudulent platforms.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are a lot of scams out there.
So how can people protect themselves? What are some red flags to watch out for?
Well, one of the biggest red flags is if a platform promises ridiculously high returns with little or no risk.
If it sounds too good to be true.
It probably is also be wary of platforms that aren't transparent about their fees or regulations.
Or if they pressure you to deposit funds right away.
Exactly. Do your research, verify their credentials with financial regulatory bodies.
So due diligence is key. And that leads us to the next topic, choosing a secure and reputable broker.
Yeah, your broker is your partner in this, so you want to make sure you choose wisely.
So what should people look for in a good broker?
First and foremost, they should be regulated by recognized authorities like the SEC or FINRA.
Okay, that makes sense. So they're accountable to someone,
Right, and they should have clear and reasonable fee structures.
not trying to nickel and dime you.
Exactly. And of course, they should have strong security measures to protect your money and your personal information.
Cybersecurity is so important these days.
Absolutely. And finally, you want a broker with reliable customer support.
Someone you can reach if you have questions or problems.
Exactly. So look for established firms with a good track record.
So again, it comes back to doing your homework.
Yeah, knowledge is power in this game.
And the payoff for all that effort is that online trading can be a really profitable way to invest.
Absolutely. But it's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
So what's the key to being successful in online trading?
I'd say it's a combination of factors.
Lay it on us.
Okay, so first you got to be informed about the markets, like we talked about earlier.
Wait, understanding those trends.
Exactly. Then you need a solid risk management strategy.
Stop loss orders diversification.
Yep, those are key, and you got to have patience ride out those market fluctuations.
Don't panic sell.
Exactly. And of course, you need to be using secure and reputable platforms.
So do your research choose your broker wisely?
Exactly. It's all about making informed decisions, not just relying on luck.
So to sum it all up for our listeners today, online trading can be an exciting and potentially lucrative way to grow your wealth.
But it's not without its risks.
So you've got to be prepared to put in the time and effort to learn the ropes.
And don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it.
Exactly. There are tons of resources available online and through your broker.
So do your homework, stay informed, and trade smart?
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for breaking it all down for us.
My pleasure.
And for all of you listening, we hope this deep dive has given you a better understanding of the world of online trading.
It's an exciting world full of possibilities.
But remember, it's crucial to approach it with caution, knowledge, and a well-thought-out strategy.
And remember to enjoy the journey.
Now that you've heard from the expert, what will your first step be in navigating this complex and dynamic landscape of online trading?